William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And I want to welcome you to Wednesday's edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul, Spirit of Universal Light. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. Today we're going to be talking about overcoming your first 7 years. I have no idea who's with us today. I've literally been really busy doing all this on the fly, so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens today. The event that triggered this morning was I had picked up something on my Facebook news feed about somebody who was suicidal and wanted to end their life. And I got this download about what they needed to be told. And what they were told, quite simply, is when you came into this world, your first 7 years of your life, from the moment you came into that body that you're sitting in right now, everything you were told to believe, think, and feel was given to you by the world around you. You had little or no choice about what the world was going to tell you about who you are, what kind of person you are, how you would feel, what you would think, where you should go, where you shouldn't go, what you should dress, what you should wear, not wear. The world dictated and gave you your personality. You didn't have a choice about it. You came in open and receptive to everything in this world. And no matter what it was, you had no choice but to receive it. Your heart and your mind were wide open from the moment you were born. Your heart and mind were wide open, a completely clean and blank slate. The only thing that was not open was your awareness. You were aware, but you could not make independent choices. You could only receive, not having memory of your past lives, not having knowledge of who you actually are. Many of you simply accepted what the world told you you are from the moment you were born for the first 7 years. In and around the second year, many children go through this process that many of you call the terrible twos. And this is when you, for the very first time in your life, began to rebel against what the world was imposing upon you that was not compatible with whom you truly are. They call it the terrible twos, not because you are terrible, but because what you are opposing is terrible. The ideas and information that are being imposed upon you reach a point where your body and your system say no. Everything from spitting your food out that they shoved in your mouth that you really knew was not compatible with your body, the sweets and sugars and things that they gave you knowing that it was not right for you, but you had no choice but to accept it. They told you you would not feel good if you did not eat what they told you to eat, or think what they told you to think, or wear what they told you to wear. You would feel unpleasant. And so for 7 years, you rebelled on occasion. At age 2, you rebelled your first time. And there were other moments of rebellion, but you were physically neither capable nor able to resist the force that could be exerted upon you by your environment. And so you found yourself having to accept an identity, ideas, beliefs about who you are that you did not even choose. And yet you had to accept them because there was nothing in you to really resist or question them. That did not happen until a little bit later, until you reached that age of around 5 and 6 and 7, when you began to question why. And oftentimes when you question why, you were not given very clear answers. Well, that's just the way it is, because I say so. That's the way it's always been. your questions and queries about why were not effectively answered, and you found yourself again not receiving information that was in alignment with a spiritual being whose foundation is ultimately based in love, in freedom, in compassion, in kindness, in peace, in playfulness, in curiosity. And many, far too many of you still sit under the yoke of that identity that you did not choose. The thoughts, the ideas, the information about yourself and what others told you the world is and what it was meant to be, death and taxes. Well, you have to suffer sometimes to experience good. You were given many ideas that operated in contradiction to the nature of who you are, which is freedom and love. Who you are is freedom and love. And yet you were placed in this reality, given an identity, not of your choosing, given thoughts and ideas and information that did not have the opportunity to be inspected by you, accepted or rejected by you. And you find yourselves, many of you, reaching points in your life where you wonder, what is the point? Well, the point is to let go of the illusions and lies that you have been given about who you were told you're supposed to be. You come to this place where you get to choose and identify who you are, not from what the world would tell you, but from what you know and feel is true. If you hear us say to you that love is your true nature, fear is not. Fear is a mechanism placed into the body to facilitate its survival, but love is your true nature. Fear is the mechanism placed in your body for its survival, so that if something is thrown at it, your body can move out of its way. If an apparent danger comes to it, the body will react to that apparent danger in order for the mechanism to survive. That goes on until you, as the awareness, begin to realize, I have dominion over what this body shall think and say and do and be. And yet you wrestle with those first 7 years, not even knowing what you're wrestling with. Many of you have these floating emotions and thoughts and wondering what to do about these feelings. Well, they're not yours to do anything about. They're yours to let go of. And you may choose and select new thoughts and ideas that are more suitable to the well-being of your mind and your body, so that when you look inside your mind, it is pleasing. So you begin to break down this identity, this set of beliefs, these ideas and ideologies that you've been given about what the world is and who you are supposed to be. Go into your mind and say, who do I choose to be? How will I think about who I am? Will I accept these thoughts that were given to me? Many of you struggle with them. They're not even yours, and yet you think they are. Just because somebody puts something in your shopping basket and you walk out of the store with it, and the manager comes out and says, hey, that's not yours. And you say, no, I didn't put it in there. And you'd be telling the truth. Most of what is in your mind, you did not even put in there. And when you begin to make that distinction between what is yours in your mind and what is not yours in your mind, you can begin to rebuild your mind and your body to be in the image and likeness of that which you truly are. And when you find yourself experiencing unnecessary fear and anxiety and uncertainty, know that it's not because you chose to be anxious and uncertain, but much of what has been placed in your mind without your permission is just that, fear and uncertainty, that you may simply say, I do not want this in my cart. I release it. I will not give this thought, this emotion, my attention anymore. It does not represent who I am anymore. And who I am is who I am, and you get to decide what that is. We are not here to tell you who you are because you can already decide that for yourself at this point now. Regardless of what thoughts and emotions might run through your mind, you have the capacity as the awareness of thought and emotion and body to begin to resculpt and reshape your mind, your emotions, to reflect more accurately the condition of being that you came here to experience and express. For you came here to express your being in a conscious and deliberate way, not to be unconsciously tossed about at the behest of thoughts and emotions that you did not even choose. You turn on your televisions. You do not choose what thoughts they give you. They choose. You decide which you will accept and which you will reject. Many of you just accept it. What you allow into your sacred temple will affect it. It'll affect its health. It'll affect its energy, which is your emotion. And it will affect your perception of yourself. Whatever is inside your mind will affect your perception of yourself. So make certain that you remove from your mind those perceptions and ideas that do not reflect nor represent who it is you want to be or are choosing to be. If love then is your true nature, then what are love's thoughts? What are love's actions? What are love's emotions? Curiosity and playfulness and joy and fun, kindness, compassion, patience, perseverance, excellence. You get to define what you are. You get to release the old self, the old identity that was given to you. Can you imagine if you had a fear of snakes and somebody knew this and they came and they gave you a box of snakes? You have a choice. You can accept the snakes in fear, or you can get curious about overcoming the fear and finding out what is so fascinating about these snakes. And you can learn to deal with them and even to let them go, to release them from the box. And so we came through to articulate this to this dear one that was thinking that their life was worthless and meaningless. And we communicated to them that their sense of meaninglessness, their sense of hopelessness was not of their own choosing, but was placed in their mind long before they even had the capacity to determine what information would come into their mind and their body and how it would affect them. But now you have this awareness that can hear these words, make distinction between what thought feels good, what emotion that thought stimulates, how those thoughts and those emotions affect your biology. Now you can begin the process of releasing yourself from all that which was placed upon your consciousness like a mask that you no longer need to wear. You can pull it away and reveal yourself again to yourself. Do not be so concerned about trying to impress the world with whom you are. Rather, liberate yourself from whom the world has conditioned you to think that you are supposed to be, and begin to sculpt and remodel your beautiful self in the image and likeness of that which is most pleasing to you. The things that you may have chosen to do as a child, whether it is to draw on paper or scribble on the walls, the way in which your world approached you when you did things that were outside of what it deemed to be proper or correct, could have resulted in you giving up and surrendering the most beautiful things about yourself. A child who scribbles on a wall with wondrous glee and excitement, and a guardian comes in and screams and yells at them for doing so and terrifies that child from the very thing that they love, but they were so young they forgot that that event happened, and so they do not try something new or different. They do not pick up a brush or a pencil or a pen to write, to design, to create, because the fear placed in them by the world about themselves now acts as a doorway closed upon their own heart. But you may open that door now. You may say, no, I shall not fear that which I feel naturally attracted to do and be. And even if I feel afraid to do that which I'm naturally attracted, I know that that fear is not mine, that that fear was what I was given. And I can relinquish my fear. You can relinquish your fear. You can relinquish your fear. It is not you. You can choose to relinquish your fear. What a wonderful idea to relinquish your fear. Is it not a wonderful idea to relinquish your fear? Imagine that you, not anyone else, can say in here, I relinquish this. I relinquish these thoughts. I relinquish these ideas that do not sustain a sense of well-being about who I know I am. And you might question yourself around what is love? What is love? Because all I have experienced is fear and pain. Then you must release your fear and pain, because if you release it, you'll begin to understand who you are again, because when you release fear and pain, there is a sense of well-being that's naturally what you are. And even in a single breath, you could do this. You can release your fear and your pain. You can do this. We've seen it done many, many, many times. But overcoming those first 7 years of an identity that you did not choose is a wondrous, wondrous undertaking, and the beginning of what we would call true freedom, where you begin to come into a deeper understanding of your being, that you do have authority over matter. You have authority over this body. You have authority over thoughts. But many of you have lost that because you believe that the identity that was placed upon you is more real than you are yourself. But you, in the very nature of your conflict with what is going on inside you, the very nature of your conflicted self is that you know that something is not right. And it is not you that is not right. It is the information and the identity that you've been given that conflicts with who you truly are. And our simple goal today is to remind you that you can define the identity of yourself that is most pleasing to you and release the character and identity that was given to you that you did not even ask for. It was simply placed inside you and you accepted it without question, because your nature is to love and to accept. Love is very accepting. But love now must also be very discerning. And as an awareness that is aware of your thoughts and aware of your emotions, you can now become discerning about what thoughts you will allow to come in and what thoughts you will allow to let go and what thoughts you will choose to manifest in your mind that represent who you are. Ideas that you can't do something or that you are a failure were not born in you. The idea that you are somehow wrong or bad was not born in you. You came in trust into this world. You came in trust, hoping that as you are, so it would be. And you found yourself in a world that is in many ways conflicted with whom you are. And now it is your opportunity. It is your opportunity to hear these words, that the identity that you've been conditioned to believe that you are does not accurately reflect who you are. And even if that identity that you've been given is one of wonder and amazement, you may keep this, but there is still more to you, even to any identity you've been given. Whether you classify that identity as good or bad, there is more to you beyond what you've been taught to believe that you think you currently are. And so we articulated our words to this dear one that we sent this message to. And we are not attached to how those words will be received. But it is our hope that you will recognize the distinction between who you are and those first 7 years where you were told that this is who you are supposed to be. This is who you are supposed to be. The distinction between who you are supposed to be and who you are, only you can define. Only you can know. But you can know this, that if a thought lifts your heart and your spirit and makes you feel vital and valued as a being, then it is a good thought. That if an emotion inspires you, fulfills you, brings a smile upon the face of that physical body that you reside in, know that it is a good emotion. It is a good energy. For this is what emotion is. Your emotion is your energy. And people give you energy. For 7 years, people gave you their energy, their fear, their love, as they understood it to be. And there was probably no intention to harm you. Many had thought that they were giving you information and ideas that would actually aid you in your survival in this world. But if you were feeling conflicted or uncertain in your life right now, then obviously that is not what has happened. So you've got conflict in your mind that you must release and relinquish. You must be conscious about relinquishing anything in your mind that you did not choose to have there. And you can do this. It is a process. It will not take you 7 years to undo 7 years. For once you understand and experience the effect of your own consciousness altering your thought and your emotion, when you begin to experience that you as awareness can alter your thought and emotion, well, then the matter of cleaning your mind up becomes one that is very effective and timely. Once you know how to release fear, once you know how to release anxiety, once you know how to release these from your mind and from your body, freedom will come very quickly. There are many of you we've seen who have let go of anger for an instant and felt peace. Many of you that have been in terror and through a single breath have released your terror and found calm. Once you begin to realize that you are the sculptor of the emotional and mental environment that your body contains and through which you must work, your liberation is imminent. Once you realize that you can choose thought, once you realize you can alter emotional energy in your being, your liberation and your freedom is imminent. Not only in your being, but in this world, for you will no longer have information, ideas, emotion, thoughts, identity inside your mind that inhibits you from articulating who you choose to articulate yourself as a being. You will not need to run from this world. You'll be able to bring to this world something that it needs that only you came here to provide. It is not by chance that there are 7.4 billion unique individuals, because each and every one of you has a unique manifestation of self that can be revealed when the masks of your past are taken off your face and you reveal who you are to the world. The process begins in learning to liberate yourself from those first 7 years. It happens very quickly. And then you find yourself choosing things very differently. What you will watch and listen to and observe, you will watch and listen and observe with a very different eye, and hear with a very different ear, and know with a very different mind than the one that was given to you by your environment. That is all we simply had to say today. That it is time for you to liberate yourself from the identity you never chose, but which was given to you. It was given to you not out of maliciousness, but out of a belief that what you were being given would be good for you. And if you were conflicted and uncertain, then obviously what was given to you was not quite what you needed. But that is something that you get to decide now. And so step forward in your self, in your awareness, in your mind, in your being. Step forward in choosing your thoughts, releasing emotions from your being so that you may find the articulation of who you are emerging into this world, that you can come into this world as you intended, as an extension and expression of love, of creativity, of playfulness, of curiosity, of excitement, of wonder. Your true nature, love, has many shades. Be bold and explore those shades of love and turn your cheek away from fear and guilt and shame and those things that you've been given by this world, that you're still being given by this world. For many of you, choose to imbibe information that does not resonate with your true nature. But that is a choice that you must make, not us. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Hi, Sunny. Hi, Nancy. Question from Sunny. Are we meant to break down the illusions and judgments of us loving others who in human society might be deemed not appropriate or okay? I feel I'm more open with love and loving now. They're saying yes and no to this, that it is important that you recognize that there are others that may be lost as you once were. There are others that may be lost as you once were. Your only task then is to only reveal the truth to them, but never to accept their illusions as truth, never to accept their lies as truth. Anything that you know that is not in alignment with what you know love's expression is for you, pay it no heed, but reveal your truth. Reveal your truth. No, I do not agree that harming others is acceptable under any conditions. I do not believe that infringing upon the rights of any individual has a place in my expression. Do not accept what you know to be wrong or untrue, for if you do, you simply then join the crowd that chooses to suffer in fear. And much of what is happening on your planet today is not a product of love, it is a product of fear. For everyone else was also given an identity, and very few have recognized the distinction between what they were given and what they are. They've accepted the masked society their environment has placed upon them, but have never questioned it, never thought of taking it off. Well, what if this is not true? What if this is true? And once that process of questioning begins, once you begin to offer your truth to others, you at least afford those even in darkness the opportunity to begin to question themselves in a constructive and healthy way. Not to say, oh, what you're doing is wrong and bad. No, but to question them. Is what you are doing benefiting your vitality, your health, and the lives of others? You find ways of questioning those that are in their own darkness in such a fashion that they question in such a fashion as to liberate themselves to their light. It is not about making others conform to what you believe to be true, but liberating them to discover what they already know is true, not what they've been taught. This process of the mask, of the identity that many people wear, that feel like they are stuck in it, and many of you do feel like you are stuck in your lives, not because you are stuck in life, but because you are stuck in an identity that this world gave you, that you have not made a distinction between that identity and who you are as a being. But once that distinction is made, your way of approaching those who are in darkness will be very different. than it is when you are in darkness also. Wow, thank you, Sonny. Great question. Question from Daniela. The 4-year-old grandson of a friend insists I am not Italian. I am German. Who were you with? I had parents whose legs hurt. Isn't it true children up to 7 years are most spiritual? Yes, they are a spiritual awareness, but they do not have the ability to distinguish or integrate themselves from their knowing of self and what the environment is repeatedly telling them they are. This 4-year-old is insisting that the world recognize who they are. They are asserting that they know, I am from this life. The confusion of other lifetimes can be equally destructive as can the subjugation of the soul to these identities. Each lifetime is a separate and distinct identity that you get to experience as a spiritual awareness. If you are unable to make a distinction between one identity or another, you're simply exchanging one mask for another. But who you are not a mask. This spiritual awareness that each and every one of you is, not simply children, each and every soul on this planet that is in a body is a spiritual being in a mind and body, many trapped in the identity of mind and body, and even carrying over the identity from other lifetimes into their mind and body. The spiritual awareness does not require thought as you understand it. This spiritual beingness does not require emotions as you understand it. There's a different process of being as awareness than in being as an identity that is separate from that awareness. Wow, great question, Danielle. Thank you so much. Question from Manoj. Please ask my wife's angel team how I'm supposed to handle her narcissistic behavior. It is difficult to be loving towards her when all I get is deception, lies, and emotional abuse in return. There is but one simple question that you must ask her repeatedly. How do you express love? What is love's expression? You keep hoping to convince her of something that she believes. And if she's not willing to relinquish what she believes, she will not relinquish what she believes, no matter what you or anyone else says or does. But quite simply, ask her this question. What is love's expression through you? Ask her this question. What is love's expression through you? Ask her this question. Do not answer it for her. Do not tell her what the answer is. Simply ask her that question. Anytime you see deception, is this love's expression? Anytime she sees or does anything that goes contrary to what you know love's expression is, ask her, is this love's expression? It is not your job to change another. It is your job to inspire them to awaken. And questions are the most effective way that you will ever find in this realm to get people to consider possibilities beyond the ones they live in. But simply ask her that question. Is this love's expression? But that one question. Is this love's expression? Two things will happen. She will either become very annoyed with your question, or she will be able to start considering what is love's expression. Most people, for those first 7 years, are not raised with love's expression. They're raised with fear's expression, and from fear they express in an attempt to preserve their well-being artificially. But the question, what is love's expression, has very far-reaching consequences for liberating the soul from the confines of the old personality. Wow. Thank you, Manoj. Great question. Question from JC. My kids are getting close to a relative that has snubbed me for years. I haven't told them of the slight because I didn't think it was right to impose that. I feel upset about this relation. Well, do not place upon the children the responsibility for what you have not relinquished. You still tend to hold on to your past like a cat holding onto a tree with its claws. And if you find yourself holding on to your past, you will always experience the suffering that that past has entailed. Memory has its value, but it also can have its detriment. And if you choose to hold on to your suffering, well, you will hold on to your suffering. It is notable that you have chosen to not share your suffering or impose it upon your children so that they might meet this dear one with an open heart and mind and decide for themselves who they are. But we would certainly recommend that you be willing to let go of the snub that happened so long ago that you carry behind you on a chain like a weight. Release the chain. Question from Nancy. It is a process quieting the mind. Does anyone have a message for me? I want to remember who I am and why I am here. This is a great question, and one we have been addressing repeatedly through this whole process. When you begin to observe and identify the thoughts and emotions that you have, the simple idea of, did these come to me as a matter of my choosing, or were these given to me? Many of the thoughts in your mind are not even yours. And the question that would follow would be, what thoughts would I choose in my mind that would ennoble my expression to be its highest possibility in this world? A thought like I am not good enough or I can't do it manifests a very specific quality of emotion and expression, whereas a thought that I can do anything and accomplish whatever I put my mind to will produce a different emotional energy and expression. The deliberate awareness that you have of being able to choose, we have often been told to call this what you call the judgment day, where you stand in judgment of all your thoughts, all your memories, and you decide what is right and what is not right, what you will accept, what you will not accept. You begin to choose the righteous from the not righteous, the good from the bad. You may sit in righteous judgment over your mind, begin to release from your mind what does not serve you, and begin to invite into your mind what does, as thought. Emotion is something you do not have to hold on to, but it is a choice. You've been taught that it is what gives you your sense of being, but your sense of being does not require emotion. Awareness that you are is distinct from the thoughts and emotions that you have, which is why so many of you can be aware that I feel bad or aware that I feel good, because it is through your awareness that you observe what is going on in this vehicle that you find yourself in. And most of what is going on in many of these vehicles, you didn't even choose. It was placed in the vehicle, and you are now in it, trying to work it with all of these ingredients and thoughts and emotions that aren't even yours. So that process of beginning to select consciously and deliberately to sort the wheat from the chaff in your mind so you can liberate yourself from your past, from the mask, from the identity that you did not choose but were given, and which you had no choice but to accept. Wow, great question. Question from Sunny. Does any spiritual guides have any Yes, we've just articulated that for you. Simply become the guardian. Simply become the guardian of your own mind. Many of you are running around the world hoping to find someone out in this world that will take care of your mind for you. And how is that working for you? Just how is that working for you? Finding someone else to take care of your mind for you. If you are getting better, that is wonderful. Then somebody is obviously giving you ideas and information that allows you to liberate yourself from suffering. But many of you do not have that experience. Many of you are Wondering, how do I do this? Simply learn to sit in righteous judgment over your thoughts. This thought does not serve me. This idea does not serve me. That thing that I focus on, this video game that I play, that I kill thousands of people, that does not serve to cultivate a vibration of love in my being. It does not serve to cultivate a representation of compassion and kindness. It does not do that. So you must discern for yourself, for we will not sit in judgment of any of you, whether you do that or not. But simply, the reality of it is that if you focus on suffering, you will experience more of that. Whether it is something you are participating as a game or something you're doing in real physical time and space, your mind does not make the distinction between fantasy and reality, nor do your emotions, nor does your body. Only you can make that distinction. Question from Grace. What is my angel's advice in regards to the conflict between me and my sister-in-law? Should I go make peace with her and forgive her for her harsh words she said to me? This is a great question, and it's very simple. I don't know who this is coming in for you, but they're saying simply, why would you choose to focus on her suffering? Why would you choose to take that on as your own? Do you not understand that those who cannot tolerate their own suffering will seek to give it to others, to unburden themselves by giving it to others? Simply release it. It's not about going and making peace with her. It's about liberating yourself from holding on to that anger and that frustration that she gave to you. It is not yours. Do not take it. If someone offers you a gift and you do not like it, do not accept it. And be careful from whom you will receive gifts. You do not have to accept anything that anyone says or tells you about yourself. You get to decide and determine who you are. So if anything, we would simply say to you that she is in greater need of relief than are you. Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you so much. Question from Moran. How can I give my light to people if I feel shame because my face is with red dots? For 4 months now, it doesn't go away. It's so hard for me. This is a wonderful question. And again, please learn to discern. It is important, dear one, that you learn to discern that you are not that body. It is simply an instrument through which you express. If you define yourself in terms of matter, then what happens with matter will define you. But your body is an instrument that you utilize, and whether it is tall or it is short, whether it is narrow or wide, whether it has dots or not, it is not who you are. It's the vehicle that you express through. Can you come to offer your body and even these spots your love and kindness? Would you dare to do this? To offer this body that you find yourself struggling with? Can you offer it your love and your compassion? Can you care about it? Your wisdom will come through this. For if you sit in shame because of your body, it is your choice. But you may sit in love over your body. It needs your love. It is saying, communicate with me. I need you. And you are the only one that can give to that body what it truly needs. Yeah, someone else is saying to you that it's important you examine and evaluate. Yeah, examine and evaluate what you're eating and what you're drinking. Make sure that what you place in your house, is good and pleasing to you. What you place in your house, make sure it is good and pleasing to you. They're saying your body, these dots are telling you that your body is needing something that you're not giving it. There's nothing wrong with your body. It's needing something that you're not giving it. Discover what that is. Discover what that is that your body needs. It needs that light. Yes, there are certain things that you must eat and drink for this at this time. But your body is not a shameful body. It is simply revealing to you that it requires your love, not your judgment. It's an amazing thing, the body, eh? There are people on this planet that have bodies that are damaged, and they're beautiful beings. They do incredible things. The body's different. Let me put it that way. They're different, but they don't find themselves in self-judgment. They find a way to express their being. The body is an instrument. It's not who you are. Yep, I will. Question from Sandra. Will there be an end anytime soon to the limitations imposed on us by the vaccinations rollout program? Again, you turn to the outside world to determine what is your place, what is your identity, and who you should be. So many of you are lost in this illusion that the world has given you. The illusion of others has been accepted as your own. You must decide for yourself what is true, what is false, what is right, what is wrong. And you must live by your truth. Not everybody wants to do that. Everybody wants to run with the crowd. They want to run with the crowd because it feels safer in the crowd. But be warned that if you find yourself operating in contradiction to what is right for your body, what is right for your mind, what is right for your being, there is always an effect to every cause. Again, none can force you but yourself. You may agree or you may disagree, but none can force you. But many of you have been taught to believe over many years that what the world tells you supersedes the nature of who you are. And so many of you find yourself in conformity to ideas that you know are wrong, but you feel you must accept because your environment has told you must accept this whether you like it or not. You do this with your children when they don't want to eat a certain vegetable or they don't want to eat a certain fruit. You tell them, no, you must eat it, and many of you are taught to accept the unacceptable from a very young age. This is why we came here today, to say very simply, overcoming those first 7 years of what the world has told you you were supposed to be and what you were supposed to think and what you were supposed to do and what you're supposed to say. Overcoming that and rediscovering and reemerging yourself as you are, as a unique and distinct expression of love. And there are many that suffer in this world that want to share their suffering with you because that is where they feel they are comfortable in their suffering, not in their light. There are many. You've been trained this way. Wow, thank you for that. We've got time for one more question, guys. I'm going to flip her down here. Question from Dova. Was the decision to end my relationship the best choice for me at this moment? I get an absolute yes. That they're saying you're conditioning to think that relationship must be defined in certain terms has only limited you, but you have sought to release that limitation from your life. You have made a different choice about what the meaning of relationship is for you. Do not doubt yourself in this. Doubt will take you back to where you started. But the choice to be free will take you to a place where you are free. Release your doubt. Pay no attention to your enemy, which is your doubt. Pay no attention to your enemy, which is your fear. Pay no attention to your enemy, which is your shame. Wow. I don't know who this group is. I've never felt them this way. They've never come in like this before, but I'm really grateful that they came today. I want to say thank you to them. I want to say thank you to all of you for coming and joining us here today on Shortcuts for Your Soul. I'll look forward to seeing you on the Friday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul, and also on the meditation on Supernatural Saturday for the week. So have yourselves a joyful day. Thank you. If you want to support this work, you can go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/William Michael Forbes, and support me through Patreon so that I can continue allowing these messages to come through. And also, if you're interested in learning how to become a medium yourself, you can go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com, and check out some of the courses and classes that we have, which will be starting in late August. I want to say much love again. Have a wonderful, joyful day, and I will see you guys all on Friday. Bye for now.